This is the Thayer Podcast for Thursday, February 15th, 2024. A week ago, I wrote an essay about in the beginning, the first phrase in Genesis, the first book of the Bible. Genesis 1 seems like a very short version of how we were created. So my essay attempted to pin some cool ways to look at our creation. Why not? To summarize, once upon a time, God was all alone in the middle of nothing, nowhere in particular, and his first great challenge became how to create something out of nothing. Being the all-knowing, all-omniscient, most excellent, and only supreme being, he decided to try to do just that, make something out of nothing. It appears as though God, the supreme being, the almighty, the big kahuna, if you will, had never done anything like this before. So he found himself in some kind of a pickle. Now, to continue where we left off, after the beginning, we come to the creation. Contemplate the second part of Genesis 1:1. God created the heaven and the earth. I spent quite a long time in my 80-some-odd years thinking about that. The question kept coming until I concluded, just as the best scientific minds in the world have concluded over the years, the Big Bang is the real deal. How did God create the Big Bang out of nothing? Well, near as I can tell, he did it the same way a mother has her baby. He grunted and he grimaced and he pushed and he shoved and he screamed. And after what seemed like an eternity, out of nowhere came the universe, complete with heaven and earth. And a Big Bang. Yeah, the Big Bang. Dr. Stephen Curran of Victoria University School of Chemical and Physical Sciences at Christchurch, New Zealand, tells us that the Big Bang was 13.8 billion years ago. He says we get that number by the fact that the universe is expanding. So when we look at galaxies, they're all moving away from us, and that's true of every point in the universe. Imagine the surface of a balloon with galaxies drawn on it, and you inflate it, and they're all moving apart from each other at the same time. Wind that back to when they were all together in balloon years, and it turns out to be about 13.8 billion years ago. There's something called a cosmic calendar where the entire history of the universe is squeezed into 1 year. If you have the Big Bang on January 1st, then all of human civilization doesn't appear until 30 seconds before midnight on New Year's Eve, December 31st. Compared to our 30 seconds, that's a very, very long time. Of course, that's a way to get a perspective on how long a week was in God's time. Genesis says it took him 7 days. That would be 7 of God's days, working out to almost 2 billion of our years for each one of his days. What came before the Big Bang, you ask? Probably nothing in particular, which is very hard to explain when you consider that God created both time and space when he created the Big Bang. With the heaven and earth created, what came next, you ask? Tune in next time. Meanwhile, improvise, adapt, overcome. Semper Fi.